And welcome to Sparkle's Guide to the 12 Brand Archetypes. Successful brands have a strong sense of identity, one that mirrors the hopes and aspirations of their customers. But finding your voice, especially as a small business, can be difficult and expensive. Identifying your brand archetype can save you time and money and show you how to connect instantly with your audience. The first archetype we're going to look at is the innocent, whose core desire is to be free and happy, and fears doing something wrong and being punished. Think Wall-E or Audrey Hepburn in pretty much any of her films. The innocent customer prefers straight-talking, gimmick-free advertising, and is naturally drawn to optimistic brands. Heavy-handed or guilt-inducing ads are likely to repulse them. Innocent brands promise simplicity and promote themselves as pure, simple and trustworthy. The worst thing that can happen to an innocent business is uncovered corruption or deceit. Second is the hero, whose main motivator is to prove their worth, and their main fear, weakness or failure. Think Erin Brockovich or Michael Jordan, warrior types. Hero customers value quality and efficiency in their products. They like to think their consumer choices will put them ahead of everyone else and aren't likely to be swayed by cute or funny adverts. Hero brands promise triumph, promoting themselves as superior to the competition. The worst thing that can happen to a hero business is for a competitor to be rated higher or proven to be better value. Third is the regular guy or girl. They want to belong and feel part of something, and they're afraid of being left out or standing out of the crowd. Think Bilbo Baggins or Homer Simpson. The everyman appreciates quality and dependability in their brands. They prefer the familiar to the strange and will emotionally invest in brands that they trust. Regular guy brands promise belonging and take pride in their down-to-earth ethos. The worst thing to happen to a regular guy business would be for them to appear greedy or elitist. Fourth is the nurturer, driven by their need to care for others, afraid of being met with selfishness and ingratitude for their sacrifices. Think Maria from The Sound of Music, or maybe Gandhi. Nurturer customers want to be recognised for their efforts without being patronised. Aggressive adverts are a major turn-off, whereas emotionally driven adverts often strike a chord. Nurturer brands promise recognition, offering their customers protection, safety and support. The worst thing a nurturer business can be seen as is harmful or exploitative. Fifth is the creator, driven by their desire to produce exceptional works, terrified of mediocrity. Think someone like Frida Kahlo or Doc Brown in Back to the Future. Creator consumers shun advertising in general, but they may enjoy experimental, boundary-pushing ads. Creator types in general are difficult to appeal to, but successful brands often develop a devout fan base. Those creator brands promise authenticity, positioning themselves as the key to unlocking the consumer's creativity. The worst thing a creator brand can be perceived as is inauthentic or a sellout. Sixth is the explorer, who craves adventure and discovery and fears conformity and inner emptiness. Think Indiana Jones, or in the real world maybe Amelia Earhart. Explorer customers embrace brands that promote freedom and self-discovery. They're unlikely to be swayed by domestic-focused ads. Explorer brands promise freedom and promote themselves as a means to help others experience the new and unknown. The worst outcome for an explorer brand would be to come across as too rigid or corporate. Seventh is the rebel, who craves revolution or revenge, while their greatest fear is powerlessness. Think Lisbeth Salander in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo or James Dean. Rebel customers appreciate the unconventional and forcefully reject the status quo. They're likely to value unique or shocking content with no obvious sell to it. Rebel brands promise revolution to their customers. They need to position themselves as alternative to the mainstream and make a big effort to stand out. Avoiding being accepted by the mainstream is their biggest challenge. Eighth is the lover, who lives to experience pleasure in their work and relationships and fears being unwanted or unloved. Think someone like Marilyn Monroe or maybe Kim Kardashian. Lover customers value the aesthetic appearance of goods and services. They're likely to be drawn to premium brands that will make them seem more attractive to others. Lover brands promise passion and promote themselves as glamorous. Lover brands can't come across as cheap or businesslike, or it would ruin the fantasy. 9th is the magician, who wants to understand the universe and their place in it, but fears the negative consequences of that exploration. Maybe someone like Nikola Tesla or Steve Jobs. Magician customers need to feel like they can grow wiser or influence people by using that brand's products. Ads should be as imaginative and inspiring as possible. Magician brands promise knowledge, promoting themselves as the gateway to transformative experience. The worst thing a magician brand can be seen as is too structured, regulated, or hollow. 10th is the ruler, driven by their desire for power and control and fearful of chaos and being overthrown. Think a strong leader, maybe Margaret Thatcher or Jay-Z. Ruler customers are naturally dominant and will not appreciate patronising or dumbed-down advertising. They will value ads that reinforce their feelings of power and stability. Ruler brands promise power and speak authoritatively. Their image is polished, often very masculine. A ruler brand would be damaged if it was perceived as weak or was publicly defeated by another company. 11th is the jester, who wants to live in the moment and enjoy life, and they fear boredom above all else. Think Dory in Finding Nemo or Jim Carrey in almost any film he's done. Jester customers find regular adverts deeply boring, but they love anything unusual or playful, especially ads that poke fun at themselves. A jester brand promises their customers entertainment. Their ads should be light-hearted and not take life too seriously, and they should always avoid being seen as bitter or strict. Finally, the 12th is the sage, who seeks the truth and wants to find wisdom, and is afraid of being misled or ignorant. Think Yoda or David Bowie. Sage customers believe that knowledge comes from growth and constantly look for new sources of information. They prefer ads which challenge them to think in a new way. Sage brands promise wisdom to their audience. They trust their customers to grasp difficult ideas and understand intellectual in-jokes, but they should avoid becoming too dumbed down or patronising. And that's that. You might be thinking, my business is a combination of lots of these, and that's okay too. Hopefully this article has given you some insight into why some of these companies project themselves in the way they do, and inspired you to engage in new ways with your audience. This video is made with Tor app by Sparkle. For more ideas about branding and archetypes, visit us at www.sparkle.com/blog.